Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are getting into a source that is truly unlike anything we have ever looked at before.
I don't think that's an exaggeration.
No, not at all. It's a very detailed and I mean frantic commentary about a community theatrical event. And it's called Sabrina's Musical 2.
Right. And you have to forget everything you think you know about, a local bake sale or a polite school play.
Yeah, this is not that. This thing reads like a massive collision between a high school talent show, an impending cosmic disaster, and the most extreme personal drama you can imagine.
What's so incredible about this source right from the jump is just the sheer density of it, the range of the details. It's not just a set list. It's not just, oh, here are the songs they sang. It meticulously documents all the interpersonal friction, the bizarre conspiracy theories that were apparently just bubbling up during rehearsal.
And not just theories, but the R-rated behavior.
Exactly. From the cast and the audience. It's just this instant, complete snapshot of a deeply, deeply chaotic event.
It really is. And I think it proves that sometimes the most dramatic things happen when a community just, tries to put on a show.
Right.
So our mission today, as always, is to shortcut you to being well-informed. And to do that, we're going to treat this commentary like a map. A very strange map.
A map through a minefield.
The minefield, yeah. We're going to navigate the initial cast tension, the shocking pre-show stuff. And when we say shocking, we actually mean potential world-ending shocking.
Yes.
And then we'll get into the performances themselves. The unforgettable and often, let's be honest, highly inappropriate performances and guests. It is. But you're going to walk away from this understanding every single bizarre detail, the whole structural chaos that defines Sabrina's second musical. So let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
Section 1. The initial setup. The premise here is simple enough. Sabrina, who is the organizer, announces her second musical. She's got that, that producer enthusiasm.
And all this energy, yeah. But the conflict comes immediately, instantly, from a key character named Laura.
What does she say?
Her response is just, I just want to relax. And that one line, it tells you everything.
It sets the whole tone, doesn't it?
It does. It's the foundational tension of the entire event. You have Sabrina with this relentless, almost manic energy to stage this thing, clashing with the understandable exhaustion of someone like Laura.
Who's just trying to live her life.
Exactly. Trying to manage a real life and, as we're about to find out, real children around this massive spectacle that's just descending on her.
So the producer's vision is already at odds with the sanity of at least one key participant.
Immediately.
But, despite that reluctance, the machine just keeps rolling forward. It goes straight into auditions.
And this is where you get the first sense of the sheer scale of this thing. The list of auditioning characters is eclectic.
That's putting it mildly. The breadth of who shows up here tells you this is not just some small neighborhood get-together.
Not at all. I mean, you've got people like Cody, Patrick, who seem to be regulars.
Yeah.
Then you have this group called the Dumb People Crew, the DPC. But then you get figures from, known fictional universes. The source just casually drops in Steve Hale and Max Fuller.
Wait, from Full House?
And Fuller House, yeah. The commentary just states it as fact. So their presence immediately signals we're dealing with that whole continuity.
So this isn't amateur hour?
Not by a long shot. If you have characters from an established sitcom universe participating, this has to be a major local cultural event. It's big enough to draw that kind of quote-unquote talent.
That totally justifies what the source says later, that the musical was a revelation for the whole state.
Exactly. It's a crossover event. And when you open the door that wide, you're not just getting established figures. You're getting younger characters like Emma and Felicia, wild cards like Courtney.
And specific pairings like Fernando and Kimmy.
Right. And what you're really doing is you're guaranteeing that this production is going to be a melting pot of wildly different expectations, different talents, and I think most importantly, pre-existing beef.
And we don't have to wait long for that beef to show up at all.
Nope, almost immediately.
We get this glimpse of some early interpersonal drama. It's a sibling rivalry, right? Jackson threatens to punch his brother Max in the face.
Yeah, and this isn't just like a throwaway line. It's more than a passing threat. The source makes a point to note that this act of aggression is actually enjoyed by other characters.
Who enjoys it?
Specifically Cody. It says Cody enjoys it. And that tells you so much about the environment.
It's not just chaotic, it's hostile.
It is hostile.
Yeah.
The atmosphere is competitive, it's potentially violent, and that's not the exception. That's just the norm.
So Laura's feeling of just wanting to relax is like immediately validated.
Completely.
Yeah.
This level of pre-show aggression, it suggests that being in this musical is less about, artistic expression and more about just asserting your dominance over everyone else.
It's like drama as a spectator sport before the curtain even goes up.
Right. But then, right in the middle of all this friction, one group, the Dumb People crew, they provide the first confirmed song choice. And it is surprisingly emotional.
This is a really interesting moment.
It's a remarkable point of contrast. So, the DPC, they decide they're going to do a Stefan Karlstefansen tribute.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to sing We Are Number One from Lazy Town.
Wow, okay.
And the source is very explicit about the context. It's because of the actor's death in 2018.
So this isn't just a meme song.
Not at all.
Yeah.
If you break down that choice, it's doing several things at once. It's taking something that, for a lot of people, was just this viral internet thing,
Yeah.
High energy, often a meme.
We are number one, yeah. Everyone knows it.
And it recontextualizes it. It turns it into this genuine, heartfelt tribute. It's layering this really profound sincerity under what could have easily been seen as like a totally absurd or lowbrow choice.
And it's coming from the group that's literally called the Dumb People crew.
That's the power of it. It's a brilliant narrative move because it forces you, the audience, to completely reconsider your expectations of them. They aren't just here for comic relief.
Right.
They're engaging in this very specific cultural act of remembrance. It's a memorable song choice that grounds the beginning of the show in some kind of real-world sentiment.
Even if that sentiment is filtered through a children's show soundtrack from Iceland.
Exactly. It's the first real example of this deep juxtaposition that just defines the entire production.
You've got, on one hand, existential violence and hostility in the hallways.
Mm-hmm.
And then on stage, you have this sincere tribute to a deceased actor. It just sets the stage perfectly for a production where any moment of genuine heart is probably going to be followed immediately by just utter narrative-shattering absurdity.
And we're only in the setup phase.
We're just getting started.
You really have to hold on to that juxtaposition because it's the only way to understand why this musical feels so completely overwhelming. The narrative just refuses to commit to a single tone. It demands that the audience embrace everything at once.
Sincere grief, aggressive hostility, lowbrow absurdity.
Often in the space of, like, a single minute. It's whiplash.
Speaking of narrative whiplash, let's move into the pre-show phase, because this is where domestic concerns collide with the show's incredible capacity for the surreal.
It starts grounded, though. It starts with Laura again, still wanting to relax.
And now she has a very specific concern about her triplets.
Yeah, a very understandable worry about her triplets being exposed to loud sound. And she notes, the source notes, that they were born a few episodes ago.
Which is a crucial little detail.
It's crucial continuity. It reminds you that her life outside this musical is demanding. The safety of her kids, who are very, very new additions to this world, is her top priority.
Okay, so we have a problem. Childcare.
A problem that gets solved pretty quickly. First, Sargent agrees to step in and watch the children.
So domestic calm is achieved.
For about 5 seconds.
Right, because as soon as that problem is solved, the chaos just rushes right back in. And it starts with maybe the most rapid, profound escalation of a character theory I've ever read.
This is where the source commentary just completely jumps the rails. It goes from neighborhood gossip to cosmic maximalism in, like, 2 sentences.
So what happens?
David, another character, makes a pretty simple assumption. He suggests that First Sergeant might be gay with Robert.
Okay, so that's just, local gossip. An observation about two people maybe starting a relationship.
Exactly. But the commentary does not treat it like gossip. It's immediately spun into this theory that they might be together, and that possibility is labeled a shocking revolution.
A shocking revolution.
The hyperbole is so deliberate. The source implies that if these two got together, it would fundamentally reorganize the entire social and political structure of their community.
So their relationship status is elevated to, like, world-changing news.
Yeah. But hold on, because the escalation doesn't stop there. It doesn't even stop at community dynamics.
Of course not.
Gary, for reasons that are completely unexplained, takes this romantic theory and just catapults it into the cosmic realm.
What does Gary say?
Gary hypothesizes that First Sergeant and Robert are secretly going to get married and then blow up the entire universe.
What? How do you get from they might be dating to they're going to cause the heat death of the universe?
It's the definitive moment where the narrative just says realism.
Yeah.
No, thank you. It completely rejects it. It's such a deliberate satirical device.
It has to be.
It suggests that in this community, personal drama and interpersonal stakes are literally synonymous with the fate of reality itself.
I mean, what does that say about the environment that a character's first leap is from a romantic assumption to the total destruction of everything?
I think it functions as both satire and like a metaphor for anxiety.
Yeah.
It's satire of the highest order. It suggests that any perceived secret in this tightly wound community has to have the highest possible stakes.
Right. If you're going to whisper about two people, you might as well go all the way.
You might as well whisper that they're going to detonate all of existence. It makes the musical, which is supposed to be the entire point of this gathering, seem utterly trivial.
It's hard to focus on your choreography when there's a cosmic ticking time bomb sharing the venue with you.
Apparently. And yet the show must go on. While the fate of the universe hangs in the balance, we see production help arriving.
Right. The source says Red, Chuck, and Bomb help set up the stage.
Which is interesting. It indicates they need external support. These are characters you associate with logistics or, muscle. It shows that the physical demands of this thing are pretty significant.
And help is probably desperately needed, especially when you have cast members like Fernando.
Ugh, Fernando. His bizarre, extremely vulgar threat is the perfect counterpoint to the abstract cosmic theory.
This threat it's shockingly raw and specific. He threatens the blues.
Yes. And he says if they don't stay out of his way, he's going to shove his thing inside his buttocks.
The aggression is so visceral, it's R-rated, and it completely undermines any idea of a, cohesive, respectful rehearsal environment.
And where the cosmic theory is this abstract fear, Fernando's threat is immediate, it's bodily, and it's deeply disturbing.
And it establishes him, yet again, as this completely unpredictable, volatile person.
And that's crucial context for his performance later.
Yeah.
Because we see that this verbal aggression, this sexualized energy, it translates directly into his stage content.
The volatility just keeps getting amplified. And that brings us to the last two major sources of pre-show drama, the canine co-producer and the scandalous sister.
This is it's a masterpiece of chaotic setup.
So first, Emma wants to join the show, gets permission from Sabrina. That's simple enough.
Normal.
But then comes Laura's sister, Mindy Sexton.
Mindy's entrance is a bombshell. It introduces immediate, high-stakes moral conflict. But the way she gets there, the mechanism of her invitation, is just pure, glorious absurdity.
Who invited her?
She was invited by Sabrina, the pet dog.
The dog.
The dog who's organizing the musical.
So we have a canine impresario.
We do.
We have to just take a second to appreciate this dog, Sabrina. Her enthusiasm, her organizational skills are apparently so high that she's managing guest lists, inviting the most morally charged character possible.
All while being, presumably, oblivious to the fact that two of her other guests might annihilate the cosmos.
The dog is the nexus of the chaos.
The dog is the engine of the plot. And the chaos Mindy brings is grounded in devastating, real-world consequences. The commentary does not hold back.
What does it say about her?
It describes Mindy Sexton as a whore who slept with a lot of men. And critically, it highlights her inability to care for her own biological children.
Which is why Laura is their caregiver.
That is the precise reason. So now you have a genuine, profound crisis. The stakes aren't just about whether the universe explodes anymore.
Now it's about whether Laura's entire family unit, her custody of these kids, her peace of mind, is going to be shattered by the arrival of her scandalous sister, who was invited by the dog producer.
The contrast is just astounding. You have this abstract cosmic fear on one side, and then this immediate personal moral devastation on the other.
So the narrative sets up this impossible tension for the audience and for the characters. You have to worry about the heat death of the universe and the potential loss of your adopted children's custody, all while trying to, finalize stage blocking.
Yeah, good luck with that. The pre-show drama has reached its absolute peak. It's integrated absurdity, aggression, cosmic existentialism, and deep family tragedy.
The stage is set, and this event simply cannot be contained.
No chance.
So finally, the curtain rises. After navigating potential universal annihilation and the arrival of the custody-challenging sister, the actual musical is described in the source with one word: interesting.
Interesting. Which has to be the biggest understatement in the history of commentary. It is the ultimate narrative lie, because what follows is just a catalog of absolute creative chaos.
This section confirms it. The chaos wasn't just in the hallways, it was the entire artistic direction of the show.
And we move directly into the weirdest song choices. The focus is entirely on objects and emotions.
We start with Courtney's bizarre choice. Courtney gets up and sings a song about feta cheese.
Feta cheese. A dairy item.
The commentary is so specific, it calls it a dairy item in a grocery store, and it labels the choice strange, and Courtney herself bizarre. I mean, what is the analytical implication of singing about feta cheese?
It's pure, unadulterated surrealism. It's a total rejection of conventional artistic subject matter. Why feta? It's specific, it's crumbly, it's salty, and it is utterly mundane.
So the choice itself is the performance.
Exactly. It's asking the audience to treat the grocery store aisle as a venue for high art.
And the performance detail as yet another layer of bizarre juxtaposition. The song is a parody of the theme song from Don Quixote.
The preschool puppet show on PBS Kids, yes.
So now we have to connect these dots. The subject is mundane feta cheese, but the vehicle for it is the Don Quixote theme, which is deliberately gentle and childlike and familiar to families in the audience.
It's intentional low art. It's set to this sweet, innocent melody, and it's designed purely to confuse the audience by hijacking a benign, recognizable theme for an ode to dairy.
It's a perfect example of artistic anarchy in a community show.
It really is. And from that culinary absurdity, we pivot hard into psychological horror with Patrick's performance.
Okay, Patrick's morbid love. He sings a song about his deceased girlfriend, Fiona, which on its own is a tragic but, manageable performance theme.
But then comes the twist. And the twist throws the seriousness of his grief completely into question.
What's the twist?
Fiona is a doll that is supposed to resemble her.
Oh, wow.
And the commentator notes their own confusion about when this detail that his deceased girlfriend has been replaced by a representative doll was actually introduced into Patrick's backstory.
So that raises a big question about the narrative consistency of this whole universe. Is this a deeply personal, though highly disturbing, coping mechanism for him? Or is the character being actively retconned, like mid-show for maximum effect?
It completely shifts the performance from sincere tragedy to this very dark, potentially unstable psychological portrait of the character.
And then the choice of song.
The song choice seals its fate as one of the most bizarre theatrical acts ever conceived. Patrick covers Love is an Open Door.
From Frozen, the cheerful Disney duet.
That's the one. And he performs it in If Heat. Fiona's Soul Ghost.
I'm sorry.
Featuring Fiona's Soul Ghost.
So a literal spiritual entity is performing a saccharine, optimistic Disney romance duet with a man and his deceased girlfriend's doll.
That's what the source says. We are now dealing with an aesthetic that blends surrealist art, profound grief, and supernatural horror, all packaged in a community theater act.
There's no filter here. There is no editorial filter whatsoever.
None. The idea that a director or even the dog Sabrina would sign off on having a visible, presumably simulated soul ghost duet with a doll during a rendition of a song known for its infectious optimism.
It pushes the envelope of what is emotionally and artistically acceptable.
The absurdity of the feta cheese song is matched here by the sheer, morbid dedication of Patrick's grief performance. It's on another level.
And just as we are trying to process the implications of a soul ghost duet, we are violently yanked back to reality.
Or rather, the highly explicit reality of Fernando and Kimmy, the R-rated duet.
This is the moment that all that aggression Fernando showed pre-show is just unleashed on the audience.
Completely. They perform a cover parody of Baby Got Back.
Okay.
And the content is explicit, but the critical component here is the explicit preemptive explanation.
What does that mean?
Before they even start, Fernando explains to the audience, the entire audience, that this is what they do when they're in their bedroom.
He says that out loud.
He does. And the commentary describes the resulting song as very disturbing and chaotic.
This is a radical shift. We've gone from the surreal and the supernatural to just outright public indecency.
And the performance isn't just suggestive. It is a direct, detailed public account of their intimate relationship, offered without prompting to an audience that includes children and families.
And the source commentary is specific about the consequence, right? It says it creates this overwhelming awkwardness for Fernando himself.
Yes, precisely because families and children were present. This is where that abstract drama, the cosmic threat, the soul ghosts, it meets concrete social failure.
The scene really crystallizes the moral chaos of the whole production.
It does. Because while the potential destruction of the universe is an abstract idea, the R-rated duet generates immediate, visceral, negative social consequences. It shows the real damage done when you give the highly personal, volatile energy of these participants an unfiltered stage.
And the audience reacts not with awe or confusion, but with embarrassment and discomfort.
Which provides the necessary moral compass.
Yeah.
It suggests that while metaphysical chaos is easy to swallow in this universe, inappropriate public content is not.
But amidst this collision of chaos, there are these brief islands of, like, structure?
There are. The thematic performances offer a moment of genuine thematic coherence.
Max Fuller and Felicia perform You're a Loser,
which is a song about being yourself even if people judge you. It's a genuinely positive message about acceptance and identity.
It's the kind of song you would actually expect to see in a community musical, a sincere moment of self-affirmation.
Totally. And Emma's performance follows that same track. She sings, "That's everything from Princess and the Pop Star."
These acts were like these brief flashes of what this musical could have been.
They're what it could have been before it was swallowed by the insanity of the prior acts. They function as narrative palate cleansers.
They let the audience take a breath.
Before we are plunged right back into the specificity of the bizarre with a final act in this section, Steve Hale's performance.
The title alone, The Foot Fetish Dr. Melody.
It speaks volumes, doesn't it?
The Foot Fetish Dr. Melody. It's so highly specific, it's thematically niche, and frankly, it's pretty disturbing. But this performance can't exist in a vacuum. It demands context. Why would the song be in this musical?
I think its placement is entirely intentional. It's foreshadowing. It thematically links to events that are coming up in the final section.
So this isn't random.
I don't think so. It suggests either that Steve Hale has a remarkably specific, unusual talent, or that the organizers, maybe even Sabrina the dog, catered this to a specific, high-profile audience member with an equally specific, highly unusual compulsion.
So the musical isn't just entertainment, it's customized experience design.
That's what it seems like. We've moved from feta cheese and soul ghosts to R-rated duets and now niche fetish themes.
The entire event is less a musical and more a curated display of the collective unconscious of the entire community.
A very disturbed collective unconscious.
Okay, so the production on stage has already demonstrated its willingness to embrace the utterly strange and the totally inappropriate.
But the source confirms that the chaos extends well into the audience. And it starts with the guest list.
The musical is called a revelation for the whole state, and that claim is justified by this high-profile and unexpected guest list.
It is truly a sign of a massive crossover event. You have Laura's parents, which adds even more personal family pressure on top of the Mindy Sexton scandal.
Right.
You have Laura's ex, Liam, which generates romantic tension. And then you have characters whose inclusion just absolutely defies genre.
Like who?
The source confirms the presence of the Blue's Clues gang.
Blue's Clues.
Yes, which is a critical data point. It confirms that the entire narrative world of Sabrina's Musical 2 has no logical boundaries whatsoever.
Preschool icons are sitting next to established sitcom figures, ex-boyfriends, and potential universal destroyers.
It has this layer of surreal, almost daddiest energy to the audience composition itself. They're just another set of celebrities attending the big event.
And with an audience that volatile and diverse, high drama is just inevitable.
And it erupts immediately with the romance and the PG warning.
A spontaneous romance. Carter and Liam's sister Jackie, they just start making out in front of everybody.
So it's disruptive behavior, sure, but it's a public display of affection. It's not the explicit content that Fernando brought to the stage.
But it still causes a massive reaction.
It does. And this public display triggers one of the most fascinating meta moments in the entire commentary, the fourth wall moment.
What happens?
A character from within the crowd interjects and shouts, "Whoa, this is PG, calm down."
And the commentator loves it.
The commentator expresses approval for this specific intervention because this character, speaking from within the narrative, is acting as the internal moral compass and critic.
They're demanding that the level of public display return to a family-friendly rating, PG.
It's a profound moment of self-correction, or at least self-awareness, within a script that has already hosted a performance about bedroom activities.
It shows that even in a world where cosmic destruction is just gossip, there's still an unspoken community threshold for public behavior.
Yeah. Making out in the audience crosses a line that singing about feta cheese or threatening the universe somehow did not.
The commentator's approval confirms that this is meant to be a moment of necessary narrative clarity.
But if that was the internal call for normalcy, the very next guest introduces the final, definitive explosion of normalcy into utter spectacle.
Oprah Winfrey.
Oprah Winfrey is confirmed to be in attendance, with a catch.
And this catch is what gives Steve Hale's song its entire context.
The catch is the fetish detail. The source states that she has a foot fetish.
Okay.
And unlike the other guests, her presence is not passive, it is immediately interactive.
And explicit.
The explicit audience interaction detailed in the source is that she actively tries to smell all the audience's feet.
All of them. And the reaction is noted in full detail. She's described as moaning sexually during the process.
That is truly astonishing. A global media figure is not just watching the show, she's engaged in this highly specific, disruptive, and explicit act in the audience.
And she's confirming her compulsion by demonstrating it live and publicly, complete with sexualized vocalizations. And this is where we execute the final connection in the chaos loop. This public, celebrity-driven display of a foot fetish links directly back to Steve Hale's performance.
The foot fetish Dr. Melody.
Exactly.
The symmetry is just too precise to be a coincidence. It strongly suggests that the musical organizers, again, perhaps even the dog Sabrina, were aware of Oprah's highly specific compulsion.
And they strategically tailored one of the acts to acknowledge her or even, I guess, satisfy her presence.
The musical is not just chaotic, it's catered. It implies that the sheer star power of a celebrity guest can literally warp the creative choices of an entire production.
The evening, then, is a perfectly structured disaster.
That's a great way to put it.
It features a dog-invited sister who introduces a moral custody conflict, the threat of universal detonation, a stage show with surrealist dairy and soul ghosts, a public sex ed moment.
And finally, the bizarre spectacle of a global icon openly engaging in illicit behavior that was literally foreshadowed by one of the stage acts.
It is the ultimate expression of this narrative world's central theme, that anything that can happen will happen, and it will happen simultaneously, ensuring that no one involved, especially the audience, can ever relax.
The level of information overload is itself part of the performance.
Quite. So let's try to wrap this up. We've just completed a deep dive into a single, dense source detailing Sabrina's Musical 2, a production that somehow managed to blend high-stakes custody battles, theories of cosmic annihilation, a performance dedicated to feta cheese, an R-rated explicit duet that embarrassed its own performer, and Oprah Winfrey's extremely specific public audience interaction.
It is a remarkable study in juxtaposition and maximalist storytelling. It really is. What this source demonstrates is just how easily a supposedly structured event, like a musical, can become a nexus for every single type of drama imaginable.
Help us all the basics.
It covers everything.
Yeah.
From the moral and the personal, like Mindy Sexton's arrival, to the completely surreal, like the feta cheese song or the soul ghost. And then just the utterly chaotic, like the foot fetish interaction in the audience. Every single dial is turned up to 11.
I think the core insight here, for me, is the profound power of character agency over plot.
Say more about that.
Well, the plot was simple, put on a musical, but the characters, driven by their grief, their aggression, their very specific niche interests, and just generalized chaos, they actively fractured that plot.
Right.
They turned it into something completely unrecognizable and, well, unforgettable. The structure of the show just completely failed to contain the personalities that were involved.
And that failure is what makes the commentary so compelling. It teaches us that to truly understand any complicated social event, you can't just look at the schedule or the program notes.
You have to dig deeper.
You have to analyze the emotional volatility and the strange, specific agendas of every single person involved.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? This deep dive, I think, it forces us to question how we weigh different types of scandal. We saw R-rated performances right alongside threats of literal cosmic destruction.
Which leads us to our final provocative thought for you. Considering the sheer volume of chaotic elements we've discussed, the explicit R rating of the Baby Got Back parody performed for families, the potential explosion of the universe theory, the serious family scandal of Mindy's return, and Oprah's public foot fetish.
A lot to choose from.
A lot. Which of these specific subplots do you think generated the most lasting, difficult scandal for that local community? Was it the explicit performance content on stage that embarrassed the families? Or was it the highly unconventional public and celebrity-driven behavior in the audience?
Something to mull over as you process the beautiful, terrible, and utterly bizarre chaos that was Sabrina's Musical 2.